Okay, so I got myself a nice Sharpie here, and I've started kind of outlining and going back over my lines. So I'm just going to do this, transfer it. Kind of going to simplify some of these really fine lines and really kind of make sure they're not too thin, because these thin ones, because remember what's carved out, that's going to be the gray area that gets carved out. And so this fine little black line is going to be kind of hard if you're not paying attention to make sure you don't cut it off. If you don't get all the lines perfect on there, it's not the hugest end of the world deal on there. Just so long as it still is what you're doing. Now, we've had lots of chickens. We love chickens. I used to have a different breed. I had some cinnamon queens, and I named all of the female chickens after hurricane names. That way, when that hurricane hit, we would just eat her. Of course, we never actually did that, because killing a chicken is stuff, and plucking all the feathers is a big pain in the butt. We just keep them till they're too old and they don't lay anymore, and then they go on over to our neighbor's house, which is like a retirement chicken village. It's not really, but that's just where they go. My dogs love to chase the chickens. Even though that they're completely enclosed in their little chicken kennel, my dogs like to run up to them and scare the living crap out of them. Okay, so now right here, I've got, this is going to be dark and that's going to be dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a line of definition. So I'm going to cut this part out. I'm not going to leave that solid. Otherwise, you're not going to know where the leg is coming out of the chicken. Since that leg is in the foreground in front of this one, I want to make sure that I distinguished it. There's the bell. since we're doing virtual school right now. That's why I'm making this video. This is our first day out without kids this year. Whenever you're doing relief printing, texture is a huge deal. The more texture you have, the more beautiful and intricate your design is, the better your image will look. And I know at this point I have not looked like I've given a lot of attention to the background, but I have in my mind, and I will put that on there later. I know that I'm going to carve out the whole background, except for I'll put a 1/4 of an inch border on here in a little bit, and then I'm going to kind of cut the ground out like kind of like the straw, like in different straw angles, because that was what was in the photo that I was working from. But the details of that are not as important as the details on Dr. Pecker. And we named him Dr. Pecker because we like Dr. Pepper, the drink. And our other dogs are named after other beverages. So just thought we'd stick with the beverage theme. Okay, so now I'm going to do a 1/4 of an inch border. I'm going to go back and get my pencil. So on this particular ruler, I'm going to take it all the way to the edge. And here's a 1/4 of an inch. There's a 1/4, there's a 1/2, there's 3/4, and 1. So I'm going to put a little dash here. And while I'm here, now this block isn't exactly 8 inches, so I'm going to move this over so that I can get a true 1/4 of an inch. Measure twice. And do the same thing on the other side. 1/4 of an inch, make a dash. 1/4 of an inch, make a dash. Now I'm going to connect those. And what a border does is it really helps to contain the image. And I'm putting another 1/4 of an inch dashes on each end there. Because I've found that if you don't have border on it, then it kind of looks like you don't know where to stop. And sometimes, especially if it's first time carvers, they'll just keep carving and then like the whole chunk will be gone. So, and when you're printing, if you have a border, you kind of have something you can hold on to that's not really the image while you are trying to line it up. Okay, so I'm not going to go over that necessarily with Sharpie, but I will come back in here with a Sharpie and put where I want the horizon line to be. So that's just kind of a guide for me. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready and get the gouge out for the next video.